Another day, another live stream. Let's see. I had a drawing idea written on this comic. They classified me as French under the Geneva Conventions. Okay. All right. Now we gotta draw that. I gotta figure out what that looks like. All right. I got a little book. I got a little drawing book that I use as a reference. And we're gonna do it. Okay, actually I have two ideas. One is the Geneva Conventions idea. And the other idea is I don't know how to say this in a politically correct manner. The strumpet maker, maybe. I don't know, the loose woman weapon. I don't know, something like that. They classified me as French under the Geneva Conventions. Hold on, let's see here. I don't even know what that means. It's just sometimes you come up with some set of phrases and you just got to draw it. Sometimes you come up with a set of phrases and you just got to draw it, man. You just got to draw it. Let's see here. What's a good word for strumpet? Should I use the word strumpet or should I use something else? Strumpet, slut, what do we use? What word describes a loose woman? How does this thing work? I don't know, man. I don't know. Read the RTFM. Oh shoot, I wanted to draw this guy with a stupid beer belly. Well, whatever. Speaking of beer belly, happy what's the word for it? Happy Fat Tuesday, everybody. It's Catholic tradition to go to confession today. So I hope you guys went to confession. Easter begins tomorrow. Go to church. Get the cross on your forehead. It's cool. Brainlit. Annie angry at me. Let's see here. Who's they? Classified me as French. They classified me as French under. There's just a little warm up right here. How do you spell Geneva? Geneeeve. Geneva. How do you spell conventions? Should we put? Okay, here's the other thing. It's like with speech bubbles, you don't really know where to put things. You could put it. I could put something here. I could put something there. I could put something like that. But no, it's got to be like this. Conventions. I don't even. This is like kind of bordering on haha funny random. You know, this might actually be haha funny random, which is not good. You, as a comic artist, as someone who's doing anything funny, it's easy to be haha funny random. But it is the original sin of comedy, I would say. Well, and I actually I wouldn't say that. I would say it's a is it the how would you even describe it? It is the well, maybe not original sin. It's like the it's the common sin of all comedians. Haha, funny random. The other common sin for people who are more right wing is substituting humor with edginess. Because right now, There's arbitrage. There's comedic arbitrage when it comes to edginess because you cannot say anything truly edgy. You cannot, which means that anyone saying anything that's remotely outside the status quo gets a huge boost, at least to a small niche, well, maybe not small, but to a niche demographic. So, so many people, their entire shittick, how do you spell that? How do you say that? Entire shindig, whatever, is be edgy. Some of it can be funny, but the problem is if everything is edgy, um, and some big people do this too. If everything is edgy, it's not really comedy. So I don't know. But I would say the way to make the way to approach art sometimes is to like notice what arbitrage you are in. Like what's the what opportunities are there for you right now. And then just like don't just like confine yourself just to one. Like, oh, edgy comedy is in right now. I'm going to do that. It's like, no. Maybe be edgy, but do this and this and da 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 da. Da. And by doing like, 50 different things at once, then you become like something that can be something great, I would say. But if you do like one or two things, it's like or if you do one thing especially, like I don't know, a comedian who only does one thing is like I don't know, I don't respect it. Like what I mean by that is like there's some comedians where the only thing that they're good at is like the kind of the modern art of how comedy works. What is that? What is the modern art of comedy? It's mastering pacing and kind of setup punchline. Like someone who's just good at setup punchline, they're good at structure and they're good at tonality. A lot of comedians I've noticed and I've watched a bunch, all they're good at is like, they've probably done like 100 comedy shows. I wouldn't really consider them to be like deeply funny, but what they're good at is they're good at like pacing. They can say da 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 da, and then everyone laughs because it's like just social programming. It's like you hit the beats, you hit the beats. But that's like I don't know. It's like kind of it's a low art, honestly. Like it's because like the thing is like what are you doing? What are you if that's your like comedic thing? Like what are you actually doing? Are you I don't know. Are you saying something important? Are you kind of pushing the boundaries a bit? Like George Carlin, like in retrospect, it's a little much, a little stupid. Um, but, to be fair, he did do stuff that I think that wasn't really being done. Um, and he innovated, you know. If you were to do George Carlin's skit today, it would be like trash. But you know, Carlin did something, right? Same with basically any kind of big important comedian. They did something unique. Um, but like if all you're good at is copying a form that audiences are going to laugh at because they're kind of a comedy show is like a hypnotic state almost. It's a people want people go there because they want to laugh. People go there because they want to let off steam and they want to laugh. It's like crying. Like, every once in a while people, gotta cry or something, and it's there's like an emotional utility in that. It's the same thing with comedy. Like people are going there for the emotional utility of laughing out loud in a public place. So they want to laugh. And if all you're doing is offering like the basic beats, you know, like it's like, man, like okay, sure. If that's how you're making your living, fine, go ahead. It's your living, but you're not really a great artist if you do that. Um, and you could say, "Well, who are you to say this?" Okay, I'm not. Am I saying I'm a great artist? No, but I'm saying that I can. I'm a pretty good judge. I think I'm a pretty good judge of like what's actually kind of good comedy and what's not. And quite frankly, a lot of like most comedy out there, I don't think is very good. A lot of my stuff included, but whatever. Um, but anyway, the real point I'm making is genuine art through comedy is a very hard thing to do. Um, and I think maybe sketch comedy might be the way, like that might be the way where it's like it's not like impossible to make something funny, but also make something that's good. Um, but the thing is, I feel like sketch comedy is kind of dying a bit. I haven't really seen much actually good sketch comedy. Like the golden age of sketch comedy was like Vine, Vine, I think, or at least that was maybe the beginning of it. You know, SNL, Vine, all these other things. Um, but today it's like, what is sketch comedy? Like, 50% of current sketches are ads to buy products. The other 50% are like, it's political pandering, trying to tell you something, sell you something. Or it's like kind of another one trick pony where someone makes one viral piece of content and then what happens? Then they just milk the hell out of it for like, 50 videos. Like I don't know, man. It's like, well, I don't know. It's all trends. Like there's the other thing. It's like trend-based comedy is not it's not a winning strategy. Trend-based comedy is not a winning strategy. Because like when I was like gosh, when I was 16, I thought, "Wow, this like ironic humor is going to last forever. This is like evergreen. This is the best stuff I've ever seen." And to some extent, some of this humor is great. It is kind of evergreen. You could argue that. But a lot of this humor that in 2016 we thought would last forever didn't. And like where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? That leaves us in a place where, especially since comedy seems to be changing so rapidly over the years, potentially, and maybe I'm wrong. Um, I don't know. I think innovation and creativity matter a lot more than I don't know than form. And maybe, well, I don't actually. I think I might disagree with that actually. Um, yeah, yeah. No, scrap to the jury. Forget everything I already called. Strike that from the record. You are not to consider anything I said over the last 10 seconds for your final verdict. Okay. Anyway, what am I trying to say? I don't know. So here's the invention. The question is, what is the invention? To those astute ones of you who realize that these are drones, congratulations. But I would say that I would venture to guess that even if I offered $1 million, you guys aren't going to realize what I'm drawing here. Unless you were here when I explained what this was, in which case you might know what this is. Okay. What? Oh, shoot. Hold on. We got to make this kind of militarized. The military uses, well, I don't know what the military uses. I kind of know what the military uses. The military would have something that is more robust. So how do we make this little platform robust? We What do we do? What do we do? I don't know. Oh yeah, we add these little what are they called? Like little stability things. So, if the wind blew it over, it wouldn't blow it over. See what I did there. By the way, the thesis I'm trying to go for with like what I ranted about for the last 15 minutes was the form of comedy is not comedy. It is simply the illusion of comedy. And I would say that many, 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 many artists um, who are comedians, I would say aren't actually like genuine artists. They just know the form very well. And by the form, I mean just tonality, you know. Honestly, a lot of these people are not funny, but they can trick people. They can trick basically almost like nearly all the kind of the, you know, sub 100 IQ people to think that what they're saying is like really hilarious, which it's not. I mean, imagine the people who unironically watch John Oliver, for example. And that's like kind of a low hanging fruit example, but there are different ones too. And I think if you go to a comedy club, you'll kind of see it. That being said, it's not nothing. It's not nothing. To master a form is difficult. And what I'm basically saying is like in the age of social media, when people don't really know what's good and what's bad, just because everything is slop, like you got to be very, I don't know. Some people can get away with making stuff that's like really subpar, but they just have the confidence to kind of make it seem like it's something. I don't know. Uh, I feel like this sounds like I'm just being kind of bitter, but really, um, what do you call it? Like if I showed you examples of what I'm talking about, I think you guys would understand. Um, anyway, well, and here's the thing: there's a lot of different shortcuts that shortcuts to the algorithm to make people kind of perceive things in a comedic manner that are ooh well that are shortcuts, and it's like filling a bread with a bunch of sawdust or flour, mixing flour and sawdust and like giving it to somebody who's maybe never had actual bread before. And then they think, oh, this is pretty good bread, but they don't really realize that, you know, most of it is just fake. Most of it isn't even real. Most of it isn't even comedy. Um, anyway, let's finish up this thing. So, thought maker, no, I don't. Thought is really old. Jeez, strumpet. Yeah. Like a laugh track is one thing, but like, oh gosh, the thing is, I've just seen so many videos where like there's no punchline, there's no payoff, there's nothing. Like it's literally like, bro, what did you just say? Like, what's the point of everything you just said here? And it's like the punch, like here's what I'm saying. The punchline is that they said the punchline in a confident manner. That's it. That's it. I don't even. Yeah, I don't even know how to repeat what they say, but that's what I'm saying. The people who are funnier than these people who are just like who confidently say unfunny punchlines, just like my comics, are people who like bomb on purpose, where their entire comedy set is kind of a meta joke that's not for the audience but for other people. But anyway, that's kind of a new sub trend I'm seeing. Anyway, but yeah, I just don't like fakeness, man. I don't like fakeness. I like creativity when people are actually saying something new, and you know, when people are pretending like they're really hilarious. They're theater kids. They know how to speak well. Um, yeah. Let's see here. What do we? Yeah. It's like I don't even have really a dog in this fight. Like I'm not. I'm not. I do some stand up comedy, but I'm not trying to like be a stand up comedian. I don't know. I'm just like just hold like artists, hold yourself to a higher standard. Like, geez, like if you don't, then like AI is 100% going to take your job, and I'm not sad about that. The only people who I think are going to survive, um, who make their money off of AI or off of art, are going to be people who are like genuine. I think. Strumpet. Thought. I love fakeness. I love false personas masking one's real pathetic nature. That's funny. So intentionally doing a bad job, like at animating or telling a joke, because the idea of doing a bad job is funny. I mean, yeah, that could be funny, but like, if it's like the only thing you do, then that's no longer funny. Like, if you're a one trick pony and you do one thing and it hits the algorithm, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, sure, you're gonna get your 15 minutes of fame. You're gonna get your like year of fame, but ultimately you're gonna be forgotten. Like, the stuff you make is meaningless. That's what I'm trying to say. Something like that. I don't know. I heart fakeness as long as it's real. That's funny. So my roommate watching comedic shows sometimes, and it's just complete ass. I know what you're talking about. Good. Okay. Video game reference. I didn't think those those exist. Reference incarnate. Gulp. The Garfield show is exactly what you're talking about, dude. Garfield. Like, what is Garfield though? Like, how how is Garfield like probably like the number two comic of all of all time? How, dude? It's probably because of Toxoplasma gondii, number one. If you don't know about that, it's like basically cats give you parasites that make you like cats better, because humans get infected by parasites that cats are trying to give to rats, so that it it's like a parasitic life cycle. So the cat has a parasite that is, gestates in its gut or something, and then it gets transferred to a rat, and the rat now likes cats a lot, right? It's less afraid of cats, so it starts walking toward the cat, and the cat is like, "Oh, this is cool," and a cat eats the rat, thus ingesting the parasite, where it gets more eggs in the gut, and then makes more parasites. So it's Toxoplasma gondii. But if people get infected with like cat feces or whatever, then they start liking cats a lot. But it also has some weird other side effects. It's like a brain parasite. Um, like, what else does it do? It makes you more risk prone. It makes you. I think it might have a slight decrease of IQ. There's a bunch of weird things, but maybe that's it. Because a huge percentage of the population is infected with this brain parasite. Like, look this up. This isn't a weird theory. This is true. So maybe Garfield was, people like seeing cats because they have the parasite, which probably allowed it to like get higher ranking. And it also like, I think it appeals to like sub midwit humor, like below IQ 100 humor. It's like what is Garfield? Food humor. I hate Mondays, and sometimes Garfield kicks Odie off the counter or something. It's like what is that? That's like physical comedy and food. It's like people with below an IQ 100. That's probably like, I don't know. Comedy at that level is probably like Shakespeare to someone within that kind of mental range. So that's probably, I think that's probably why Garfield turned into something big, because it struck a nerve with the common denominator. Calvin and Hobbes is too complex for many people. Most people, when they hear words that are longer than two syllables, they check out. They go watch CNN. They drink their corn syrup. That's basically just what happens. But Garfield, man, dude, Garfield. When you got one brain cell, Garfield hits. Garfield is probably like crack to someone with one brain cell. The only thing that beats Garfield, I think, is Peanuts, which is basically like just American nostalgia. It's like Peanuts was like proto Calvin and Hobbes. I don't like Peanuts. I don't I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't like it. But it's proto Calvin and Hobbes. And credit where it's credit's due. But Garfield, man, Garfield, what the dude? This guy had like fucking 5 movies. It's like a over $10 billion industry. Garfield, it's probably over $10 billion. Like, what are we doing as Americans? What's going? Okay, yeah, but Calvin and Hobbes though. Calvin and Hobbes. Why isn't that should be like number one in everything? I don't know. Um, maybe the way that you make a successful comic is you just need an orange cat. You just need a fucking orange cat. Oh, shit. Maybe that's what I should do next. I should make an orange cat. I should figure out how to draw cats very well. I should make an orange cat. Okay, Gustav needs to make an orange cat. Okay. Were the Smurfs, was that ever a comic strip? I don't know. Bill Watterson famously refused to corporatize and sell Calvin and Hobbes. Yes. I can't. I've drawn Garfield before. I've done like a couple Garfield comics. I don't want to. It takes too much effort, and it requires a reference. Otherwise, it's just you don't. Here's the thing: if you don't draw something like really, really close to what you're trying to draw, no one understands it. No one gets what you're trying to do. Like, you need to be pretty accurate. You need to be pretty accurate. Yeah. Make a whole comic orange, see if it gets their attention. Dude, that would be really funny. What if I stopped making Goosenov comics? And I pulled like a Sergeant Pepper and I made a completely different comic strip based off of an orange cat. But it's like something different. Dude, whoa. Shoot. I get like GPT 4.5 to just make comics for me. Like write what the punchlines are going to be, and I just draw it. Draw the orange cat. If I was a soulless corporate like influencer who was like, get rich quick, here's like 10 ways, buy my course, I would probably do that. I'd probably get an AI image generator to like make sketches of what the comic would look like. I would get AI to just write everything for me, and I just write it out. I'd like colorize it. Dude, I feel like that. Anyway, let's keep going. Heathcliff too. Heathcliff, esoteric small comic artist from the 70s. I think he's still making stuff today. I think that's also an orange cat. So the way you win in this game is to make a fucking orange cat. Oh gosh. Excuse me. Where's Pipe? Are you gonna make more long form philosophy videos? Oh gosh, man. I'd like to. As long as I don't know. I like if people start like watching them. If people care about like kind of the rants that I go on, then I'll make more philosophy videos. But I don't think we're there yet. I think we'll be there eventually. but I think I got to build more rapport with people. People got to realize that. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not. People got to realize. Um, I personally think that I have some important things I'm trying to say, and they're things that not a lot of people are saying, if any. I think there are some ideas that I have that are genuinely new. Um, so, mm, what's the word? What's the word? I don't know. So anyway, point is, I think there's value in the philosophy videos I have. I think I just got to build up kind of a reputation where, okay, this guy has some things that he says that are actually, like, worth listening to. Because the thing is, today, like, I don't know, just in general, it's like most people don't want to, like, people don't want to listen to what the hell you have to say. And it sucks, but like, it takes a lot to build a brand. It takes a lot to get people to, like, listen to you. So we're still in that phase. We're still in the phase of, like, trust building, reputation building. And I think once we're there, after that, then we can start getting into philosophy, making a book or so. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's an entirely different way to do it. Maybe my stuff isn't very smart. Maybe there's no, like, depth to it. And perhaps. But we'll have to see. I think the chips are not down yet. The chips are not down yet. How do we? Gosh, what's the word? Because strumpet isn't good. It's okay. Thought isn't good. Hoe isn't good. Hoe generator. Hoe generator. Hoe might work. Hoe. Just throw things at the wall continuously. That's really funny. I like that. That's funny. I didn't know you were a fish. Yes, deep philosophy right there. Uh, yeah. It's okay. What's a word for a thought? What's a word for a whore? Should we just write whore? Fuck it. We're writing whore. People don't use this word anymore. It's a good word. It's a good word. I will tell you, I'm not a fan of these types of people. Not a fan. Not a fan. They gotta change whatever's going wrong with them. And quite frankly, the people who are worse than these people are those who enable and create these people, because they are created. Make no there's no what is it? There's no 2 cents about it. Make no mistake. Whores are not born; they are made. Now, there's a couple different means that these entities are generated. Gener, a. I think it's Tor, right? Tor. Let's see here. Is it Tor or Ter? I wish I was less of a fan of them. It's a weakness of mine, man. Yeah, man. It's called the human tradition, human condition. Uh, uh, is it Tor? That doesn't look right. Are you Goob Smooch? Yes, I am Goob Smooch. Yes, yeah. No, I'm not Goob Smooch. He's different. His politics are very different. I think he unfollowed me, actually. I don't think he likes what I have to say. I think your comics are pretty dope. I loved the one where the kid said he wanted to use as little energy as possible. Incredible. The human tradition. Yes, whores are a human tradition, and it's a part of the human condition. You just got to make sure that you don't get stuck with one. If you get stuck with one, man, then your life is probably over. Like, let's be honest. Like, you got to figure something out if you get stuck with them. Syringe filled with a lethal dose of estrogen. Seeks out the father, finds the find drone swarm, seeks out and injects the father. Oh, we got to have some sort of radar. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me tell you the two. I'm going to leave you guys with some wisdom, something I figured out, which is 100% true. But psychology isn't going to figure it out because they're too modern psychologists are too stupid, man. They're just idiots. Anyway, you know how BPD works? BPD is borderline personality disorder, which I'd say most girls who make like really, really, really bad decisions, like decisions that make you want to like pull your teeth out, just from second hand. Girls with BPD, what causes it? I think what causes it is when girls are young, and there's a genetic component to it, but there's also an environmental factor that activates a certain gene that I think. If a girl encounters serious loss in her life, let's say her father dies, or her mother dies, or her father abandons her, then I think a certain circuit is switched on in her brain that basically says, oh, shoot, I'm in an environment where, it's going to be very hard to survive. Like, for example, like imagine you're in 600 AD and the Vikings are coming. The Vikings come and they kill your dad. They kill your dad. And you're just a little girl sitting there. It's like, oh no, the Vikings are going to keep coming and they're going to keep killing people and they're going to keep killing my family and they're going to keep killing everybody. And they might even kill me. Oh, shoot. So how do you pass on your genes? How do you pass on your genes? I think BPD sets off changes women's minds to be like kind of crazy, but it also ensures that they like have sex in a very reckless manner, and then it allows them to have kids. So I think, anyway, to recap, if someone close to you dies or abandons you, the evolutionary strategy that this mental illness puts you on is try and have, just have a kid. It doesn't matter how. And also like don't be too attached, like kind of, because part of BPD is like it's making bad decisions, but it's also like, trying to self-sabotage your relationships. And I think what that teaches is, or what that instills within the person with this mental illness is, like, don't be too reliant on anybody. Because if you're kind of already trying to ruin your connections with others, then you're going to be more fine on your own. But anyway, so I think that's where BPD comes from. Where the hell was I going with this? Oh, yes. So, point is, whores are. He said the bad word. He said the bad word. How could he? Loose women are made, not born. And this is why it's important to have a good family. This is why it's important to have a good father and a good mother who instill virtue in their children and who love them and who make them not feel desperate for love and attention from others, you know, not feel like they need to, like, give away their body to feel worth anything. Um like without that, without a father, without a mother, like, it can get dark. It can get dark. So that's the point of that comic. There's a anyway. There's a double meaning. There's a double or triple meaning in what I just drew. But anyway, you guys will be able to figure out yourself. Demonetized. Yes, I don't care anymore. I don't care. Gustav, I understand what you're talking on a primary evolutionary perspective, and you sound like you post on R Nice Guys. Okay. No, dude, I just, psychology is like a side hobby for me. Like, you can try and disprove what I'm saying by all means. Try and disprove what I'm saying. But I'm probably right here. Like, borderline personality disorder and many different other mental illnesses are likely activated gene pathways, not or activated mental or genetic pathways. They're not actually inherent. They're not actually, like, kind of born. And I would also say, you could say, well, what about schizophrenia? Well, I think schizophrenia that might have passed on through the population because of shamanism. But anyway, like, I don't like. Here's the thing: it's like, what I really hate is when people characterize ideas rather than engaging with them. Like, and I think this caveat: there are some ideas where, like, you've heard them literally a trillion times before. Like, Trump is a racist. Blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, okay, great, okay, great. Oh, I've heard that a trillion times before. Like, but if you say something that I don't, have you guys ever heard the thought that BPD is caused by your mother dying? I don't think so, because I've never heard of it from anywhere, and I've studied this for a while, and I came to this conclusion independently. So it's a new idea. It's a new idea. If you approach new ideas with scorn and ridicule, which is like the default for human beings is to look at something new and say, "Ew, this is bad." I don't know. It's a very midwit behavior, I think, unfortunately. It's just like, I don't know, man. Like, to be fair though, there's like, here's the thing. Everything is a paradox. Everything has a flip side to it. Like, if someone is saying something completely insane, like Scientology. Imagine someone goes up to you with Scientology. Like, obviously, like, reject that, right? But, like ideas that are philosophical in nature and that are, like, genuinely trying to search for the truth versus ideas that are, like, malicious in intent, like Scientology. Like, Scientology was designed by a team of psychologists paid for by, what do you call it, that whoever that science fiction author was. Um, and it's malicious. It's a malicious mind virus idea. Um, but, like, and there are other mind viruses where it's like, you're not arguing in good faith. But I'd say that there are many ideas out there. There are many projects. There are many pieces of art. There are many other things that are like, I don't know. It's like the normal human impulse of, like, the crowd is to, like, kill babies in the cradle. It's to see something new and to say this is, like, not give it a chance. Like, for most people, the only time they give something a chance is when it's already popular. And you could say, well, no, you're just being stupid. It's like, no. Like this is literally a psychological phenomenon. It's like the first mover principle, anyway. If there's someone like, there's a funny video where, like, some guy was, like, dancing around crazy on a hill. He was alone. Then someone else joins him. Now there's two people dancing crazy on a hill. Before, everyone was looking at this guy like, this guy's insane. But now that there's two people dancing, it's like, oh, something's happening. And then a third person comes and he starts dancing. And it's like, now it's like, kind of, oh, three people are doing it. It must be normal. and then it's just an avalanche. Like 4, 5, 6, like 20 people start dancing on this stupid hill because now, oh, this is now the popular thing to do. Everyone's doing it, so this must be good. This must be what everyone's doing. This must be whatever. But like, like why? I don't know. I don't know. There's not a lot of nobility in the decision to just follow the crowd. Like, to follow the crowd, you got to be honest with yourself. It's a survival mechanism. If you're following the crowd, if that's your default, if your default is, what are people around me thinking? Oh my gosh, what did he say? What did he say? Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm gonna follow what he said because he's part of the crowd. It's like, okay, you're not acting on a higher level of consciousness. You're acting at like survival. You're acting at like anyway. That's not the way you create civilization. That's not the way you build. That's not the way you are like a great man. The way you actually do something big in the world is you're like, okay, the crowd is probably wrong about some things. There's probably some arbitrage where the crowd is wrong and there's some area to be right, which can help everyone out. The crowd has an immune system response that anything that deviates from what the crowd is, it attacks. Like, this is what the story of Jesus was. Jesus was something different. The crowd decided to kill him. This is like the core teaching of Christianity. And point is, just be honest with yourself and try and see if you're another face in the crowd, or if you're maybe the second mover, or if you're the primary mover. I don't know. It's like, crowds do not push history. Crowds are stupid. Crowds might be able to solve some computational tasks. Like, a crowd of people can accurately count how many jelly beans are in a jar. It's like, how is that possible? How is that possible? Through like a normal distribution, if everyone independently guesses how many jelly beans are in a jar, it's going to be very accurate, even though each individual is going to be really wrong. So crowds are good at like computational tasks, but leadership, mm, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. We have too many examples, too much empirical evidence to show us that trusting the crowd is a bad idea. So anyway, this is a rant because I am pissed off at like just constantly seeing, like, it's a part of human nature. Let's be honest, it's a part of human nature. It's not going away, but I don't know. If I can encourage some people to stop thinking as a hive mind, I think the world would be a little bit better. Because the hive mind is so stupid, man. The hive mind does not know what's going on. Like AI. There's a like a Chinese game. It's like Goners. I don't know. The Chinese game, like, AI is very good at chess. It's very good at like all these games, but it's not good at this one Chinese game, because the strategy to win is to be able to see like a large pattern and be able to understand what the pattern is, and then strategically iterate off of that large pattern, which human beings are good at. Human beings can see something for what it is and understand the thing at like I can see a picture of a dog and like know, okay, that's a dog. But like, it not just categorizing it, but like know all the different elements. Where's the nose? I know it's there. I know that. I don't think that's a good way of explaining it. But human beings can see something for what it is. Large computational systems miss the forest for the trees. Like, think about that really deeply for a second. Large computational systems only see the trees, they don't see the forest. This is the same with AI. This is why LLMs have, or large language models have, very limited context windows, right? If you have a conversation with a LLM for like, paragraphs and paragraphs and essays and essays, it's going to forget what you said in the beginning, or it's going to forget lots of details because it can't see the entire forest. It can't see like what you're doing. It can only see like little snippets. It acts on like kind of like a small chunk on that basis. And I think crowds that work the same. They see only really what's in front of them. They kind of get whipped up into a fury, you know. The same thing with corporations. Corporations are kind of like AI. Um, you know, they operate on really limited parameters like finances, um, you know, which is an approximation of an approximation. And it's these are all elements of a crowd, you know, the market, you know. These are all computational systems, but they can be wrong. They can be very wrong with things. They can do things on a strategic level that is bad for the actual human beings within the system. Like a war, imagine that. Um, so point is, it's a good idea to try and not be a part of a crowd. You can use a crowd when necessary, you know, use a crowd to kind of figure out like what's the best price of a ham sandwich. Okay, you know, markets can do that pretty well. But man, for many other tasks, it's not good. Anyway, I've made the point. But okay, dude, I'm gonna be for real. I like the hive mind. I hate people trying to relate to the hive mind for a monetary incentive. I just got here. Damn well said. I ran out of cocaine. Did Gustav die or did the internet die? Excited to see. I was gonna spin this back into the horror generator. Oh, here's how I'm gonna spin it back into the horror generator. I think oftentimes people choose to rely on the safety of the crowd when they've become damaged themselves, when they, uh, you know, when they're hurt, when they were burned for being themselves. Like maybe your parents squashed your creativity. Maybe they said, you can't do this, or they belittled you, or some people bullied you and you felt like you couldn't be an individual and you kind of sunk into the crowd because it's safer. It's the same thing with the horror generator. These people are generated from trauma, I would say. And I think, you know, many people are wounded in some way. And figuring out a way to not let your past set you down a bad trajectory in your life or color your vision in a untruthful way. It's important to mentally overcome that, to spiritually overcome that. So even if someone deployed the horde generator on you, um, you got to deploy countermeasures. And even if they do get a hit on you, you gotta, yeah, you gotta thug it out. You gotta thug it out. So anyway, I don't know. It's funny because I feel like I don't know. I like talking about this stuff, and I think it's important to say, but I can't see myself from a third person perspective, so I don't really know how this actually sounds. So hopefully it's useful to you guys. Hopefully it's useful because in my heart I feel like this is useful. I feel like this is important stuff to be saying. So um, I don't know. Hopefully it snowballs into something interesting, but we'll see. Anyway. There should be a creativity exercise every stream to have your silly little drawings inevitably let you go off on a tangent. Dude, man, you're great. You're great. I love your comics. See, you're actually engaged. I like this. How would you say it? I don't know. I like the strategic thinking you have. This is great. I love it. Gustav lives in a society. You've said what you've said is translated well by coke fueled mind. Oh man. Please don't get fented up. The Fent reactor is not on. It's not safe yet. The thorium Fent reactor. You need to be careful because the coke might have traces of you know, there might be cross contamination between your coke and the Fent reactors. It's like that label you have on a bag of bag of cashews or something. Like, beware. Um, these cashews were processed in a facility that also processes peanuts. Speaking of peanuts, did you guys know thorium fet reactor? All right, going to bed, y'all. All right, Hawk Tua to you too. Hawk Tua to you too, sir. Message retracted. Oh no. Do you think it's multiple gods and shamanism when paganism, religious leads to schizophrenia as a ritual aspect? I think it could be demonic possession. It could also be just shamanism. It could also be a combat, like kind of your subconscious and conscious minds are like there isn't really a barrier. It could be that you're dreaming while you're awake. I don't know. I'm not a pagan though. What I will say though is fudge. There was something I'm forgetting. Oh yes. Oh yes. Isaac Butterfield. I don't know who Butterfield is. Is that Hunnet Grain? Witch Doctor Bozo? Hunnet Grain? What? I don't know, man. I don't know. I would just say just make sure you don't get schizophrenia. Like make sure you don't do shrooms and LSD. Like maybe there will be studies eventually that show that this is like there's like a safe way to do it, but I don't I think you got to stay away from that stuff. If the Catholic Church ever says that this is how you do shrooms safely, then you can do it, but like be careful. But Coke though, Coke. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say my thoughts on it on this stream. With that said, I've never done it, but I don't know. I don't know. I can't say my thoughts. I won't tell you what type of a doctor it was. Okay. Did you guys know? Did you guys know that peanuts are not actually nuts? I'm not joking. Peanuts are not actually nuts. Peanuts are actually, look this up, closer. Actually, they might actually just be legumes. Look it up. Look this up. Most won't admit this, but peanuts are not nuts. They are legumes.